I'm not paid to be a role model. I'm paid to wreak havoc on the basketball court.
Here's the pass to Leitner. Puts it up. Yes! Is it the shoe?
I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been.
One of the world's most talented athletes is retiring. It is true what somebody said today. There was Babe Ruth and Muhammad Ali and Michael Jordan and Wayne Gretzky.
Gretzky in front. Saved by Flaherty. The rebound. Score!
Favre just threw it perfectly right over him to Kory David. Only Brett Favre could do that. I don't care what you say.
This is WHPC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Game on! Game on!
Happy Wednesday, sports fans. Welcome in to another day of WHPC Sports Talk. You're listening to the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. We got a packed show today. A certain baseball team in Queens is starting. Listen, I've taken the positive route, but I think it might be time to press the panic button. Yeah. But we'll get into that a little bit. Got some Giants talk, got some NFL, got some NBA. We got a great show for you today. Let's get it right into it. But let me introduce everybody first. I'm your host for today, Joshua Umahi. Joined by me, I have Kory David.
How's everybody doing it? Oh, I had to see which one was the right one real quick.
Son, that mic wasn't connected to anything. What are you doing?
I thought it was like a wireless type of deal.
Man, wireless mics are not in our budget, Kory. Nico Each. The unreplicable Nico Each. How we doing?
I'm a little upset, Josh.
Yeah?
Yankees won last night. I needed them to lose for my bets. It's not a good day.
Not a good day. Not a good day if you're a Mets fan and a Yankees hater like yourself.
That's what you get for trashing them last show.
Hey, man. They're still going to choke in the playoffs. They ain't going nowhere.
Okay. Erik Williams, what's up?
I'm feeling a little better after that loss on Sunday. You know, right. I let it set in, but, you know, I'm feeling better now.
That Echo dot you won yesterday is kind of making you feel better?
Yo, cool question. What's your teams again? I forgot what's your teams.
Dodgers, Cowboys, Suns.
Oh, yeah, you already know. I'm already dancing. I'm dancing all over the Cowboys grave today.
You see?
We will definitely get to the Cowboys and their interesting strategy about their quarterback plans with Dak hurt later on in the show. But Ross Levine, how are we doing?
Really disappointed with those Mets. They're just not. There's no words to describe that team. It's really bad. Horrendous, I'll say.
You know, I'll say it again. And 516-572-7440, that is the number to join the show. We're going to get into the New York Mets right now, but I'll say it again, Ross. It's just, it seems wild to say we've just been crapping all over the Mets and their prospects this year.
Yes.
They're still 89-54. I've been saying that. They still have a great record, but I might be turning the corner in terms of how much I can big up this Mets team that hasn't played, to keep it frank, they have not played well for an extended period now. It's not 3 games, 5 games. In September now, and we talked about their easy-ass schedule in September. They're 5-6 in September.
I know. And
what's going on?
And they're 14-14 in the last 20 games. It's been bad. It's really bad. I mean, they haven't really hit the whole time. I mean, they've had spurts where here and there, they look like they're about to, break out, but then it goes back to reality. And look, I've said they needed to do more at that trade deadline. They did not do anything at that deadline. And look, Vogelback, Ruff, Naquin, that's just not the answer. It's just not. I mean, you're having all those guys batting fifth in your lineup most of the time. No matter who, they're all bad options. They're just bad options. And what makes it even worse is the fact if they didn't do anything at the deadline, which they didn't, that the backup plan would have been Mark Vientos. That was the plan, and they did not do that until Starling Marte got hurt. Like, what are we doing here? Because that again, I go back to there's a difference between lying and not doing what you wanted. And to me, they did both. They lied and they didn't do anything because they didn't call Vientos in time. I know he's playing tonight. It's too late in the sense for him, not for the team, for him. And you're trying out Darren Ruff, who's in the lineup again, so it doesn't make sense. And the lineup is just, they're not deep. And I kept saying that all season. They're not a deep lineup. No pitcher is afraid of anybody in this lineup. And also here's another thing too. I know people were riding high, rightfully so. They were the best offensive team in baseball for a good stretch. When it comes down to crunch time, when you really need them, this shows, and I hear it after the games too, in the interviews, Lindor, whether it's hitting a wall, whatever. When I hear stuff like that, it shows me why this team has won nothing. This is why. I hear it. I literally hear, whether it's Lindor, Alonso, whoever. I hear consistently. I don't need to hear that the players are tired. I don't need to hear that. Okay, you can't say I hit a wall, the whole team hit a wall, we're tired, too many games. I'm sorry, that's unacceptable.
I'm going to make a bold declaration, and you know where I've been on the Mets taking this division. I know the Braves have been red hot, but I've maintained that the Mets are going to hold on and win this division when it's all said and done. I'm going to tell you today, listen, remember what I said last Friday? September 9th to the 19th. It's now September 14th. They needed to extend this NL East lead, which was half game at a time, extend it to 3 games. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They already blew their shot. And you had this. Listen, I'm glad you went to the offense first because you've been killing the bullpen and Billy Epler all year. But this offense, they faced Adrian Sampson yesterday. 2-5, actually 1-5 coming into last night. Adrian Sampson with a 4 ERA. 4 ERA. You can't scratch more than 1 run against that. That's where we're at.
Yeah, really? and I hate when they say it every game, and I get it's their jobs. They have to give credit to their pitcher. Buck Showalter has to say after the game, give credit. Like, I'm sorry, it's enough after a while.
Exactly. I'm done giving credit to bum pitchers. I really am. How much credit can you give a guy with a 4 ERA, a 5 ERA, a 2-6 record, a 7-10 record? I'm with you. I'm tired of hearing it.
Yeah, everybody has figured out a way to hit them, and the Mets can't. I'm sorry. That's, again, unacceptable. Now, look, a lot of players are at blame. Nimmo. Got to be better. Just has to be better. Okay, that's a fact. Jeff McNeil's done his part. He's done his part the whole time.
Right.
Nobody else is helping. And what makes it even worse is this is not just physical at this point. This is mental. Because when there's guys on base, never come through. They never come through. Okay? And, of course, they give you a little slap in the face, middle finger, whatever you want to call it, because in the 9th inning when there's nobody on base, they hit the home run. Then Lindor hits a home run. Then Alonso hits a home run. Nobody gives a crap at that point in the game when the game is over.
Well, yeah, the pressure's off at that point. That's why it's so easy to them to score runs and when it's already over.
And I can't stand those players. And I see a theme here, too. There's a few themes I've seen. When they were out of first place for a few hours, by the way, because it was a doubleheader against the Pirates. Then they played their best baseball. Then they scored runs. When they were out of first place, when their backs were against the wall, that's when they played well. But now that they're in first place and, there's no pressure now,
right?
They take their foot off the gas pedal. So only when there was a little adversity, that's when they showed up. When there was no adversity, they did not show up. And that's frustrating. And even with guys on base as an example, when you needed to get the hit, they don't get the hit. I can't stand players like that. They're playing basically when they needed it to, not when they don't need it to. And the other theme I've seen is the pitchers, when they give up a run in the first inning or second inning, they do not pick up for them. They don't. They don't. Chris Bassett, he gives up 5 runs. Okay, didn't have anything. Whatever, it happens.
That's fine. Yeah, he's pitched well all season long.
Yeah,
he's allowed that game.
Yeah, and the bullpen picked up for him that night. The offense did not. The offense did not pick up for him, and that's mental.
You know what's especially nasty and just disgusting about last night's loss, and we didn't even bring this up yet. Jacob deGrom was on the mound, even on deGrom day. Again, he didn't have his best stuff yesterday.
Yeah, but it was a lot of bunts. It was a lot of soft hits. I'm not blaming deGrom.
deGrom, he's due to give up some, soft contact and fluky hits, right? So But the offense. Even on DeGrom Day, he allows 3 earned runs. That's a lot for Jacob DeGrom, I know, but that's the standards he set. But you against Adrian Sampson, you let Adrian Sampson win the matchup against Jacob DeGrom, and that was the game this series you needed to win.
Yeah, and that's what makes it frustrating is that I feel like when they're down in games, and I heard this against the Nationals. Well, it takes away like Ron Darling said this. I think it takes when they give up runs early, it takes a little bit of the mojo or whatever away from the team. That is utter nonsense if that's the case on the players. That is a shame on the players if that's the case, because if that you know what, you're not going to get great outs every single night. You're just not. You're not. And guess what? You have wasted opportunities to take advantage of great starts. Max Scherzer, before he got hurt, gave you great outings, and guess what? You wasted them. So you know what? You're not going to always get that every time. So you know what? If you don't get a great out, like Chris Bassett did, shame on you, offense, because your offense did absolutely nothing to support great outs, never alone bad outings. So that's a shame on the offense there. And guess what? Here's another thing about these players too. These guys have won nothing together. They haven't won anything. No, from 1 through 9 in the lineup, who has a ring on their finger? Really? Who has any ring on their finger? Lindor, I know he made it to a World Series. Never won.
That's why I've now reached the conclusion that, unfortunately, the Braves, the defending champions, are taking this division because, to your point, don't think they aren't watching the Mets just can't hit, bullpen folding, fans on the GM's head. Like, they're watching this and they're like, oh, we got them. Yeah. We got them. It's only a matter of time. Like, we got them right where we want them if you're the Atlanta Braves. And tonight's game, the Mets try to prevent the sweep. You have David Peterson taking the mound against Drew Smyly. Listen, we talked about it pre-show. If the Mets get swept by the Chicago Cubs, Braden Daniello tomorrow, bro.
Oh, that's going to be probably the best show of the year.
Braden, if you're listening, he gave us some good stuff yesterday, but don't let the Cubs walk into Citi Field and sweep the Mets. It just can't happen.
But you know what's going to happen. They're not going to score runs. You know that. And Pearson can go and pitch a great game tonight. He could bounce back. It's very possible. But is this offense going to do anything for him? I have no confidence to say that they're going to. I just don't. Now, could they shut me up? Could they play 10 games and they get back to what they were a few months ago? I guess it's possible. But here's the thing, though. I feel like they're already so much in their heads, and I don't even know if they can get out of it. I mean, look, they could say all these guys are playing every day. And look, I think for certain players, they're gassed. Like Alonso's gassed. Lindor's gassed. But I don't want to hear that after the games. Look, well, they're tired. That's nonsense. That's nonsense. I can't stand when Lindor says stuff like that. And you wonder why people get on his case. This is why people don't always love Francisco Lindor. Yes, there's a lot of players or a lot of fans that like him because you know what? He's a great defensive shortstop. You know, he's one of the best shortstops. He might go down as one of the best shortstops, if not the best in Mets history.
Yeah.
That's why people love him. But the reason why people don't love him is because of a few things. Number one, he's not clutch. He has not been clutch lately. And number two, stuff like that. That's nonsense. I don't want to hear nonsense. I want to see results.
You know, you look at tonight's game again, Ross, and I'll close with the Mets on this. Drew Smyly, I said it, 6-8. 3.57 ERA, but that doesn't matter. We all know how the Mets have performed against lefties.
Yeah.
In fact, we knew that since the start of the season.
Yeah.
And what was their big move? Their big move, a fantastic team at the trade deadline. What was their big move again to plug that hole and be better against lefties?
Darren Roth.
You bring in Doo-Doo Darren. Doo-Doo Darren. That's your big move? You trade 4 prospects for that guy?
Yeah,
a World Series contender.
Yeah.
Really?
It falls on him too. I think Epler gets like 60% of the blame here because look, you have to put some of it on the players. That's a fact. As much as I may not like Epler, that's a fact. But he's Roth, Vogelbach, Naquin. They provided nothing. I mean, they're just nothing. I mean, they were good for the first week, but they just absolutely provided nothing for this team. And look, I know what he's gonna say at the end of the season. Well, there's no big bad out there. Nonsense. Okay, JD Martinez was out there.
There were a lot of guys, and offensively and in the bullpen.
Yeah, I could name a few guys. I mean, Chafin, Robertson. I mean, he wasn't aggressive enough. Let's be honest. And look, maybe Epler doesn't think this is a World Series team. Maybe I'm dead wrong.
How could he not? How could he not?
No, I'm not agreeing with that, but that's my only thing. And that maybe he did not think this is a World Series team. Or, because if you're saying that he was not aggressive enough, because I think that's what it was. He was not aggressive enough. Well, then that tells me that he did not want this World Series hard enough. That's what it is. There's a difference between I think they are and wanting it. To me, he did not want, or he doesn't think they're a World Series team, and that's a shame. That really is a shame. You have Steve Cohen there. They bring in Max Scherzer. Once you bring in Max Scherzer, you are all in to win. That's it. You bring in Scherzer, you make the trade for Chris Bassett, you sign Marte, Kanye, okay. We all knew they needed a big bat. But no, they tricked themselves because they had the best offense in baseball for the first few months. They're like, nope, we're good. And that tricked them. That absolutely tricked them. And that's why I'm pissed off at him. And this is why you keep hearing the rumors about David Stearns. Because Epler can't do this job.
Listen, the Mets are facing a lot of heat and a lot of pressure, not only from the Braves in the standings, but from, could you imagine, sports media in New York as a whole tomorrow if the Mets lose tomorrow and say the Braves win tonight and the Braves overtake them again heading into this final stretch of the season here? I could only imagine the hellfire that's going to rain on the New York Mets if that happens. Hopefully they get it done tonight, but we will see. You are listening to WHPC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. It is Joshua Umahi, Kory David, Nico Each, Erik Williams, and Ross Levine here with you on this Wednesday afternoon. Let's pivot to football, fellas. We got a football crew here today, and I wanted to circle back to kind of lighten the mood in the room right now. The Giants, we talked about the Jets yesterday. That's a whole nother. They lost.
Yep, that's not surprising.
The Giants won on Sunday afternoon. That big 2-point conversion, that huge move from Brian Dable. They get it. The field goal's missed. The Giants are 1-0 for the first time. I could not believe this stat when I read it. It's actually extremely pathetic and sad and just very, very depressing.
Yeah.
Kory.
Are we gonna mention since the
boat pick, right?
The boat pick. I know he was gonna go to boat pick.
The first time over 500 since the boat pick.
Wow.
It's embarrassing.
2017.
Yep.
Wow.
Now, again, I want to congratulate.
That was like Sterling Shepard's rookie year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah.
That's wild. And listen, they are 1-0, so I want to take this time to congratulate the Giants. But where I want to go with this team right now and the fans is that it's a lot of conflicted feelings. I know Ross came here on Monday and was indifferent towards it. I don't know how you could be indifferent towards that win.
Well, no, I'm happy for the team. I don't know if Jones is the quarterback. That's why I'm indifferent. I don't think they have their quarterback. I still don't think they have their quarterback. That's all. I'm indifferent.
Me personally, watching that game, I was just, as much as I'm happy that we won, I was disappointed in a lot of their performances. Saquon Barkley, for all good that he did, people forget that he did have that long run that he broke and then just fumbled it at the end.
Yeah.
You have Darnay Holmes, who can't cover, who they put in the slot, who can't cover, who almost literally gave up this game. Daniel Jones is not it, but we had to deal with it. So overall, I'm just glad that we won. I feel like this is gonna be one of them years that we just gonna have to scrap for everything that we get. I don't see us where we're like the Eagles, where we have a whole bunch of star pieces where we could just go out there and that it's going to be a win. Yeah. Everything's going to be a dogfight.
How many wins do you think the Giants will get this season?
Going 8-7.
He's said that. He's actually Kory has said that since we started the whole Football Friday thing.
I went one down one. I said 9.
You did say 9.
I did say 9.
But after that win, why would you jump off that prediction?
Well,
if you started at 9 wins.
Well, we gotta remember too. They missed a field goal.
Actually, you know what?
They did miss a field goal.
That's what I'm back on it now because I think we're gonna get 2. I think we're gonna get 2 at Dallas. I think we're gonna get probably
Whoa!
We gonna probably.
Not on Thanksgiving.
We might get 1 or 2 from Dallas. As people say, and then if you say, "Oh, Dak's gonna be back by then," Dak was playing like trash before the injury, so stop it.
Well, the Cowboys have concerns on their O-line with Dak Prescott in there. I mean, I don't think they're a great offensive team with Prescott. I think they're going to be pretty bad without him. But look, the Giants, we have to remember something. This was a very good win. They came back in the game. Here's the thing. They're not. The quarterback feels like they're going to hold them back. Like, that's just what.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, like, I think Barkley's going to be really good this season. I don't think that was a blip. I think he's actually going to be really good this season. And I do think getting Kadarius Toney somewhat back. I have no idea what is up with that guy, but I do like the receivers. I like Shepard. Shepard was very good, and I do think the offensive line will get better over time. But the quarterback definitely worries me. He did get better, and I will say that I think Dable getting to his face will help. It concerns me, and look, the good thing is they're going to get Kayvon Thibodeau back.
Yes,
they will get Ojulari back at some point. I think this Sunday maybe. But in terms of like the division, the Giants they're still not the best team in this division. Okay, the Eagles are unfortunately going to be there. And the funny thing is when the Eagles beat the Lions, I was not that impressed by the Eagles. I really wasn't.
My thing is though, right? So you said we're not going to be the best in the division, right?
No, we're not going to be the best.
But I think we got a good shot at being second best. I think we're better than the Commanders. Right now, we're better than Dallas.
Right now. You'll be better for the next 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah. we might look, that might be all we need.
Hey man, Cooper Rush might be the next Dak Prescott. Let's not forget.
Stop it. Y'all better off trying to go trade for Jimmy G or get Tyler Hunt.
Jimmy G ain't getting traded.
This is the thing though, because then you have to spend a draft pick on him, and then you have to take another week for him to prepare for the playbook. I don't think that's why they aren't going after trading a quarterback or signing a free agent.
Oh, I hope y'all don't trade for a quarterback. I'm praying on it.
I mean, you go with Cooper Rush, this guy knows the playbook. He's been with Dallas for some years now, so he's familiar.
You can know the playbook and still suck.
Yeah, but then people go back to the Minnesota game, and I just, you had Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb.
You have nobody on the outside. Nobody.
Yeah, it's looking real rough for the Cowboys, and we will go in depth on them a little later in the show. For now, we do have a caller on WHPC Sports Talk. Caller, you're on. Who are you? What you want to talk about?
Giants, Giants, baby.
Yeah.
What you want to talk about with the Giants?
Week 1 win, first time since 2016. I've been feeling great the past 2 days. Everybody in the NFC East took the W except the Cowboys, and I could not be happier. It made my weekend.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, look, we got nothing but to be happy about this week. We don't know what's going to happen next week, but we in the moment right now. That's what I say.
We're going to enjoy what we got right now. We're going to enjoy it.
Now, let me ask you this, because I'm looking at the Giants' schedule, right? It's looking, they got the big win over a playoff team last year. You look at the next couple of games.
Who's next?
They got the Panthers at home.
The Panthers.
Oh, we got that. I think we got that.
Baker Mayfield not doing nothing.
That's a big if.
Listen. Their next 3 games are Panthers at home, Giants at home, and then they have 3 home games in a row. Actually,
Baker just lost to Deshaunless Cleveland Browns. I think we got this.
We got that. That's an easy W.
Wow. So Cowboys after the Panthers, and then the Bears at home. That's 3 very winnable games. Listen, I know Giants fans have been starving for a winning team for years now. How realistic is like a 4-0, 3-1 start for this team? A team that I don't think is very good, but has a soft schedule.
I'm not going to overreact or nothing like that, but I honestly don't see a 3-0 or 4-0 start like realistic. I'm thinking like 2-2, maybe 3-1. Because we're still not a good team. Like, we won the game, but we don't have a good roster. We won the game because Saquon and the offense carried us there. The defense played good, but without Saquon, we're not winning that game.
I agree with you, but my problem is this. My only thing is this, right? If we winning games, right? We have a winning season. Does that make Daniel Jones' case to be the quarterback for next year? I don't want that.
I don't look at that. I don't look at it like that either. He's not that guy. Like, we know this.
I just don't want his success to lead to him having another year.
He's a game manager at best.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
He's damn sure not no game manager.
Yeah, he's not. He might not even be that. You're right about that. You're right about that.
Boy don't make no game managing decisions that are equating to them actually winning the game. And I'll be honest with you. If I'm Kenny Galladay, I'm somehow getting out of here like in the next couple of years because it's proven that Matthew Stafford really made that guy. Because ever since he came to the Giants, he hasn't produced anything for us.
Not a touchdown. Nothing memorable about Kenny Galladay in the past year and a half.
Yeah, another terrible mistake from Dave Gettleman. And thank you for the call. Great call, by the way. I wanted to come at the angle with, you mentioned it, Kory, Daniel Jones, and the caller mentioned it as well. You said it. Game managers don't make the mistake of trying to throw a back shoulder fade to your running back. Again, Saquon Barkley is very talented, but he's not a premier receiver to be doing that, and it gets picked off. And you see how Brian Dable went to the sideline and just ripped into him. Deservedly so.
Ask the question what's on the paper.
Is Daniel Jones mid?
Yes.
Is he just mid?
He's below mid.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Below mid.
He's below mid.
6 feet under mid.
6 feet under mid.
And now what I do want to say is I'm glad that Dable came up to him and actually got into him. Hopefully that can somewhat motivate him.
Yeah.
But I just don't want where past regimes will coddle him and just be like, oh no, Daniel Jones is making strides. And stuff. No, he is not.
Yep. That's why I love what Dable did, because all these coaches, you look at the Jason Garretts and the Joe Judges, the Pat Shurmurs, all these guys, Freddie Kitchens last year, they all coddle this guy. No, after a dumb mistake like that, you got to rip into him. You can't be doing that with the game on the line, down there in the red zone, throwing that pick.
Yeah, I mean,
I love that Dable did that.
Yeah, I mean, look, Dable's not going to be those coaches you could tell is going to be that coddling type of person. He's not afraid to get into people's face, and that's what I will respect about him. I think that's why he is going to be a very good coach. I think the worst thing, look, if the Giants were, let's say, an 8 or 9 win team, and Daniel Jones is still not great, they're not going to extend him anyway. I mean, let's be honest. They're probably not doing that anyway. And look, they could always go the stopgap route anyway. I mean, look, there's this is actually not that outlandish. But let's just say the Raiders don't do well this year. Let's just say for some reason they just fall off. They can cut Carr. The Raiders can cut Carr, and the Giants could pick him up as a 1-year stopgap. That is not outlandish if Jones is not the quarterback, because they're not going to be high enough to take one. I mean, unless they trade up. And even if you did take a quarterback, it still wouldn't be that bad if you got Derek Carr or Jimmy Garoppolo for a year, because Jones is not going to be the quarterback of this team, and I know that for a fact.
I think, and it's funny I brought up the fact that, in my opinion, I don't know how a Giants fan could be upset about that loss, but you guys brought up the point. You don't want this team to win games in the meaningless year where you're not going to do anything, and they start to buy into Daniel Jones a little bit. I'm going to tell you right now, no need for that.
That was you know what? That's very similar to the Knicks season 2 years ago.
Yeah, because that's a great point, Erik. Because Julius Randle, his first year in New York, disaster. Mm-hmm. That second year, we're not expecting anything. Knicks are the 4th seed in the East, and we give him this contract that we can't unload right now. So that is a good point. Maybe that could happen if Daniel Jones performs like fake good. I don't even see that. I don't even see him doing that though.
He's not. So I think if he was average, I don't think they're giving him an extension. They're probably not going to do that. And look, they can. There's good quarterbacks in this draft. Maybe they can trade up, do whatever. Look, it's a matter of the team. I mean, if the team is playing well, I'm not gonna get mad at the team for winning. I mean, the team they're a football team. When you're out there, you're trying to win games. And look, Daniel Jones did some decent things. I mean, look, the guy, as bad as that interception was, that was a horrible pick.
Yeah,
he was 17 for 21. I mean, the guy was, his complete percentage was really good. I mean, it's, he had the one touchdown as well. He had that great throw. I mean, again, do I think he's a quarterback? No. But was his worst game ever? Absolutely not. He actually played, I thought, a decent football game. Unfortunately, though, that interception you can't overlook. That was a bad pick, and that almost cost them the game.
My problem's always been this with Daniel Jones, right? We as the fans who are kind of rooting for him, we see the talent. We see the talent there. We see the athleticism. He has the arm strength. it's just always been those decision making, as far as like when to hold on to the ball too long in the pocket, and those just to take those sacks or just force something.
Staring down receivers.
Exactly. Yeah. Like it's always been the little things with Daniel Jones, and if he would have just managed to work on all those years, that's why I felt like each regime that he was in failed him as that with coaching wise, because I felt as though they never worked with him on that stuff as far as building him up as a quarterback that could be that franchise guy.
That's a great point. I truly think it's a combination of Daniel Jones just not being that good, but at the same time, the Giants with the regimes they brought in, they did fail him. Like, that's a fact.
Like I'll say something controversial. It's just my always opinion. Talent wise. Like, as far as athleticism and everything like that, I always viewed Daniel Jones as just like the poor man's version of Josh Allen. Like, he has the running ability, he has the height, he has the arm strength. It's just that the difference between the two is one makes better decisions as far as a quarterback.
Yeah, and I think it's also Daniel Jones
has weapons.
It's also he has physical tools. That he does have that. The problem with Jones, it's not physical, it's mental. That's what it is with Jones. It's in between the ears. That's the problem with Daniel Jones. It's not talent. It's between the ears. And I don't see that being fixable. I just don't. Because once you're on the football field, your instincts take over. And I don't think Dable, as good as he may look, and I think he's a very good offensive mind, I don't know if that's fixable. And look, Garrett did him no favors. I'm not going to defend Garrett. He was terrible.
Right.
And I do think Kafka's a much better, but I don't think that's fixable, which is why I don't think they have their quarterback. And I think they know they don't have their quarterback.
You know, I definitely want to get to Eric's Cowboys and Nico's Packers in a little bit, but I'll say this about the Giants. I think the best case scenario, because I really think there is a lot of good young talent on this football team.
Oh, there absolutely is.
On offense and defense.
Yeah, and you actually have people that are in the Giants organization that understand the game today, and they are building this the right way. They are bringing in offensive line. They're building it through the trenches, which I respect.
Yes, and listen, best case scenario, you win, like Kory said, 7, 8, 9 games. I don't think they're going 9, but you win 7, 8. You look what the Bears did with Justin Fields, right? They got their stopgap guy in Andy Dalton, teach him the ropes. You trade up for Justin Fields with the Giants, they did. So I think that's the move. You have Anthony Richardson to look at, Bryce Young, who I think is going to be just a stud, C.J. Stroud. There's a lot of good young quarterbacks. The Giants can have their pick. Even if they win more games than you expect, they can have their pick in the draft this year.
Yeah.
We do have a caller on WHPC Sports Talk. Caller, you're on. Who are you? What do you want to talk about?
My name is Erik. I'm calling from Queens.
What's up, Erik?
I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Oh man, come
on.
It's my fault.
Hold on. Yeah. I'm listening to the show and I'm hearing my man back there getting real happy over one lucky win. You know what I'm saying? One lucky win, and it's not just him. It's all my Giant friends who've been real quiet and nervous. And they get one win and they calling me up and asking, "Hey, what's going on?" And this.
I'll tell you why. Because guess what? One lucky win is better than a horrible loss.
And you're right. But let's put everything in perspective. This is what I told Giant fans. I said, you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because you're not going to be bad enough to lose to get a top. What's the guy in Alabama? Bryce. You're not going to be probably bad enough to get Bryce Young. You improve just enough to get maybe 6, 7 wins. But then who are you going to get? You're wishing on a Derek Carr. I heard the guy just say Derek Carr. He's not going to be the answer, and you might not even get him. What are you going to do?
I wouldn't even say that because you got to look at it like this. You look at the last string of quarterbacks, like the draft picks. They haven't been. They necessarily haven't been going like top 1, top 2. It's been a lot of those out of position like defensive end or like running backs or people who they rank high. Like you look at a Justin Fields who was able to get like what he wasn't like a top 5 pick, was he? He was top 5.
He was 14, I think.
Yeah. So
he was. So, but you guys won't even really get that probably. But what I'm saying is, so then you get that guy. So it's going to take you another 2 or 3 years. You know what I'm saying? I'm just calling to talk a little smack. You're going nowhere fast. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Pump the break. I know my team is. I know who my team is. I know that we.
I got a question. How old are you, sir?
I'm in my 50s.
Okay, so you did. So you was able to see a Cowboys win. I'm about 28.
I've seen 4 of them.
I have never seen a Cowboys Super Bowl win in my lifetime, but you know what I have seen? A Giants one. 2 actually.
Okay. Everything goes in cycles, because you know what? While I was watching the Cowboys win those Super Bowls when I was a kid, I also saw years and years, like 18 years straight, of the Giants not even making the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So there's things that you guys have done that we will never do, no matter how bad we are. You know what I'm saying?
but you know
guys will never be a team of the decade, or never have errors. Just take your little 2 recent Super Bowls and be happy. Your little I got his little lucky chips. Everything goes in cycle.
If y'all are America's team, y'all are the worst representatives.
Listen, I can't do anything about Jerry and listen, can't get rid of the whole.
Like when they say, what is the team of America? And they say the Dallas Cowboys, I'd be like, why are y'all sending them out there to represent us like that? outside of Michael Parsons, who do y'all really have? Who?
Oh, we got to be. Hold on. Stop.
Yes. Let's
we got talent on the team.
Let's talk about it. Y'all overpaid DeMarcus Lawrence. Zeke is.
But that was okay. Go ahead. I'm not sure.
Zeke is out of his prime. Y'all still don't play Tony Pollard. Y'all only got CeeDee Lamb. Y'all traded away the other receiver that could have helped y'all in Amari Cooper. Dak ain't been good since he got paid. I'm just going to point out the obvious. Y'all offensive line is getting old. I could keep going on.
Okay. Now, Zeke, first of all, Zeke, I wouldn't say Zeke is out of his prime. He won't be Zeke of 16 or 18. But when your offensive line, I get it. Tyron Smith is the pillar of that line with Zach Martin. He can't stay healthy. When he's there, you see a totally different Zeke and Dak. You know what I'm saying? DeMarcus Lawrence, you had to pay him to keep that defense intact, and it's not just about facts. He's one of the greatest guys on putting pressure on people in the league, and he's a great run stuffer. You know what I'm saying? Amari Cooper was an overpaid decoy because he only had like 800 yards. Now, granted, he would open up things for CD, but we'll be all right once Gallup and Washington comes back, and it's a lot of ifs. But we need Tyron to come back a little later. Everything, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. I've seen the Eagles do this, start out 3-5, but the intention, they're not America's team, so everything is out on them, and win 5-6 in a row. It's not, if we can squeeze out maybe 1 or 2 wins with Cooper, we'll be okay.
I'm sorry.
We got y'all.
I'm sorry, but the Eagles have historically been known how to create a team. Even when they weren't doing anything with Donovan McNabb, they were still making NFC championships.
They also created a all-world flop team too.
Okay, that was that one. That was that.
And did nothing.
That was that 1 year, but unfortunately, y'all been doing that every year. I'm sorry.
No. We will go to the play. See, this is where you get it twisted.
Look,
we'll go to the playoffs. We may not get past the first round or whatever, but you guys haven't been to the playoffs ever since the infamous boat ride with the shirts off. You know what I'm saying? So come on,
we'll take that.
It's getting further and further away. You know what I'm saying? So let's not,
look,
come
sir,
on.
I bet money we'll be back in the Super Bowl before the Dallas Cowboys.
That's a hot take.
The Giants' last playoff win was the Super Bowl.
Let me speak on it because
Scalding hot take.
One thing that I just noticed between the Eagles and the Giants is they know how to build a team. The last good team that the Dallas Cowboys had was, I want to say, Dak and Zeke's rookie year, where they went damn near undefeated. They lost like 2 games in the last end of the season. But outside of that,
last year wasn't good. So that team last year wasn't good.
That team wasn't good. Y'all lost your first game, and everybody knew y'all was going to lose the first game.
I'm talking about with the personnel.
On paper.
I'm not talking about you can't. Yeah, on
paper, y'all was a solid team. Same with the Eagles. Eagles was a solid team, and they made the playoffs. Guess what? You know what they did? They improved.
Eagles were trash last year, and they beat up on you and the Commanders at the end, and the Saints.
But what did
they ran into the playoffs on 6 week wins in a row, and they went in there at 9-8. Come on.
But you know what the Eagles did that the Dallas Cowboys didn't do? They improved. Their line got better. Their receiver core got better. Their defensive line got better. Their running back core got better.
So far after 1 week beating a mediocre Lions.
Lions is not mediocre now. Come on now. Come on. They're a solid team.
They're solid.
They're a solid team.
Very solid team.
They're tough. They're tough. They're a young, tough team. But let's not go and say, oh, like the Lions or Kansas City or whatever. Stop. It's 1 week. It's 1 week, and you Giant fans are jumping out the window. Everybody's heaping praise on Philly after 1 week. Oh, they went out and got all of these names. Let's see. It's a long season.
You put that Detroit Lions team against the Dallas Cowboys right now. It's a blowout. Stop playing.
Really, a blowout?
It's a blowout. It's not even.
You guys can't. You guys are probably eating with us now because we got Cooper Rush. With that, we beat you like we've been beaten.
Dak was playing trash before the injury. Stop it. Dak just had Dak.
You know what? It's easy to say he's playing trash. He came back from an injury last. I'm not using this excuse. He wasn't 100% healthy after that ankle injury. And like I said, if his offensive line is not there, you can't do nothing. But all I can do is let you guys, and I'm not going to take up all your time, but I'm going to let you guys talk, and then I'm going to call in at the end of the season or whatever, and we'll see. Because everybody likes to say, oh, the Cowboys, and I get it. That's what comes with the America's team label and everything. But you guys always sit there. Everybody, Philly. They went out there and they got A.J. Brown. He's okay. You really putting your trust in Jalen Hurts?
Yes,
really?
I am. Over Dak?
He's Michael Vick.
He ain't Michael Vick, but he's solid. He's solid.
He's better than Dak.
He's better than Dak.
I think so too.
He's better than Dak.
I think he's better than Dak too.
Listen, Erik, all I got to say is great call.
Yeah.
You got to call again.
Me and I'll call again.
Don't tease me. Call back at the end of the season. Don't tease me. Call back at the end of the season.
He's drinking. Take this cup away from him, okay? I'm going to hang up and keep listening, fella.
Thank you for the call, Erik. I don't see no cup over there for Kory, but maybe I had a little something before the show.
A little cup had water in it, though.
Oh, you think Dak is worse than Jalen Hurts? I don't know. Kory.
I think Jalen Hurts is exactly what they need. It's like what's his name? Nick Foles. He was the perfect quarterback at that time because he didn't need to do too much. He just needed to lead him in the right direction. Dak, you never know what you're going to get from him. Sometimes you need him to run, sometimes you need him to pass, and he don't know what he want to do. Yeah. And I just want to say one thing. I used to run track, right? And they had a bunch of Jamaicans on our team, right? You know what they look, when they having a bad race, they hand me start hurting. So when Dak started playing like trash, my ankle, my wrist, everything started hurt a little bit on
head,
Dak.
Shoulders, knees, and toes.
Listen, Dak, he has his own problems. Obviously, without the offensive line, he needs the offensive line. He leans back on the offensive line in the running game. He's been doing that since he came in the league. But that's why they were so good in 2016.
But that offensive line got old, B. It got
old and players left. Because, all right, listen, you had Ron Leary, Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, and Lael Collins on the right side.
How many people are still left from that line?
Zach Martin and Tyron Smith. That's it.
Barely Tyron Smith. Barely Tyron.
Yeah, barely. So, him relying on the offensive line like that, it's just... You don't have him now, so he's exposed. He gets exposed, and then you don't have your receiving core, and the offensive line isn't good enough to implement the run game. So he's basically a pass-heavy quarterback with no offensive line. It's just not where he is.
That's what Giants ain't had an offensive line since what? Super Bowl 2012? 2012, what's that?
Yeah,
they barely had an offensive line that year, as far as I remember.
Well, I mean,
you don't see us complaining.
They had a little bit of an offensive line.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm complaining, but I'm just giving you what it is. This is the truth.
What you do is you build on that offensive line, like how the Eagles did. Look. They went out and got a guy who never played football. He just learned 4 years ago how to play football. Literally. And guess what he is? Top left tackle in the league.
Listen, the Cowboys host the Bengals this week. Bengals coming off a rough loss to the Steelers. I'll say this. I do like the pieces on the Cowboys defense. I think Michael Parsons is...
Yeah, Michael Parsons is the truth.
The Giants should have had him.
He got Michael Parsons got my vote for Defensive Player of the Year. And I hope they do. I hope they rush him more because I don't want to see him more in coverage. I want to see him more.
That is a great point.
He makes more of an impact on the line.
Trayvon Diggs, we gonna have to see this season.
No, come on, he played good in coverage against the Buccaneers.
My son,
that was one catch. It was one catch.
Mike Evans with the patented push-off.
Yeah, he did push off too.
I mean, come on, man. That's what Mike Evans does. So I'm not shocked, but Listen, Michael Parsons, I think we talk about the Bengals' offensive line. I thought it was going to be much improved. Last week didn't offer that much confidence in that prediction. I think it's still very, very vulnerable. Rush Michael Parsons, get that Dallas front seven going against the Bengals' offensive line. I think it could be a better game than a lot of people are expecting.
Another reason why I'm liking Michael Parsons, he stood up Skip Bayless yesterday. Because he's supposed to be on the show. Like, he's supposed to be on the show throughout the season.
Oh, he wasn't there?
First episode was like, nah, I'm good.
Listen, anybody that's going to do that to Skip Bayless they got a fan of me, man.
I think
man deserves it.
It's going to be a tough game for both teams, the Bengals and the Cowboys. Obviously because the Cowboys don't have their starting quarterback, but the Bengals, because they have a lot to prove still.
Bengals got to get that lick back.
Yeah.
They do, and defending Super Bowl champion, but not everyone, but a lot of people were saying if the Ravens didn't have like the worst injury bug in history last year, they win that division. And they might be the favorites in the division this year.
They were winning it. They were winning the division before Lamar Jackson got injured.
That's what I'm saying. So if they go, or they're facing the prospect of going 0-2, right? And that talk, especially if the Ravens win next week, that talk is going to continue, and the spotlight is going to be on the defending AFC champion, so we'll see how that game plays out. We've given the state of the Giants address. We've given the state of the Cowboys address. Nico over there, your Packers, 0-1, lost to the Vikings a few days ago, but you do have your, what do we call them,
my children.
Your children.
Our children. Mr. Ayahuasca's children.
Mr. Ayahuasca's
the little
children.
Ayahuascas.
The Chicago Bears trotting into Lambeau Field in primetime. In primetime for some reason. I know Chicago's a big market, but come on, man. Saints Bucks right there. I'll that's the extent of my Saints talk today. Yeah, we ate that W on Sunday.
Barely.
Listen, man.
Look. We talk about every other team. Don't let us get into them Saints now. Don't let us get into them Saints.
Why don't I want to get into the Saints?
Y'all barely won that game against the Falcons, who had Mariota as the quarterback.
Man, first off,
that team ain't good. You know that team ain't. You know Atlanta ain't good.
I know Atlanta ain't good, and that they blow leads. That's what they do. That's what they've always done. But listen, Jameis Winston, 212 yards passing in the fourth quarter. That don't move you at all. That don't move you at all.
I'm concerned.
It really don't.
It really don't. Man.
I'm concerned for both.
Hater number one over here. Go ahead, Rose.
I'm actually concerned for the Packers and the Saints. I'm concerned for both.
For both? Why?
I'm concerned for both of you guys. I really are. Because the Saints, I don't think your defense is as good as you think. I just don't.
It took some hits. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is a big loss.
Yes.
Justin Evans, who we got from Tampa Bay, who's always been hurt, a high draft pick, filled in pretty well. I'll leave it there on the Saints. But really, Nico, what you got to say about doubting the Packers?
Listen, I was talking some smack about the Packers yesterday, the day before. But it's too early to freak out or even be concerned about them. If anything, I'm concerned about Aaron Rodgers and him giving up on the team. Because after Christian Watson dropped that pass, that boy was defeated. He gave up, sat on the bench. And it's like week one doesn't even exist for the Packers anymore.
No.
So, you know what? I'm excited for week one this weekend.
Yeah.
Week one starts against the Bears for us.
The Packers week one starts a week later than everybody else. That's
exactly.
What you're saying.
Yo, me, I'm an avid wrestling fan, right? And this is gonna relate. And I've never seen a wrestler who relates more to an NFL player. And CM Punk and Aaron Rodgers, especially
Ayahuasca brothers,
especially with that press conference that CM Punk just recently had, where he said, "I'm old, I'm tired, and I work with children." That's I know for a fact that's what Aaron Rodgers wanted to say after that game. It was like, how do you drop a wide open pass? And then the thing was, I believe Devontae Adams had more receiving yards than the whole total Green Bay Packers receiving corps. I was just like, dang, they really. He just got to look at it like, y'all gave Devontae up. What am I supposed to do? And then you got Zadarius Smith coming back and just wrecking havoc, knocking Aaron Rodgers on the ground. It's like, what you gonna do now? You should have paid me my money.
You know what? That started the Zadarius Smith hate train on this show.
Real quick, how do we feel about that play? Because a lot of people would say Aaron Rodgers is trying to throw a block. You can do whatever you want to a guy that's trying to throw a block on you. But at the same time, it is one of the biggest stars in the NFL. You going right at his shoulder. What do we think about that play?
I'm just like this. Look, Za'Darius is like, y'all ain't want to resign me. I don't care about this quarterback.
Yeah.
If he hit him with the Drago. If he dies, he dies.
That's fair. I mean, that's football though. So
yeah,
deal with it.
That's football. And the Vikings out physical the Packers. I think the Packers defense is still top flight. I think they'll definitely show that off against a pathetic. I like Justin Fields, but
they're gonna destroy him.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
I think this week is definitely gonna be a blowout.
Yeah,
on Sunday.
If the Packers don't beat the Chicago Bears, they're in deep trouble.
Yeah, then that's when I'd be concerned. But I mean, really depends on the wide receiver play.
Well, yeah. No, but like
if they play a really good game, it's just like the defense fell out. Then it's like, okay, I have high hopes for the offense. The defense just needs to figure this stuff out.
But they to me they have to blow them out. If to me, like, even if they won by like a field goal, I'd be concerned. Like they just don't have a lot of weapons. The Packers like they used to. I mean, Cobb's not the same player. Adams is gone. I mean, they don't have anybody. It's not great. Not great receivers. I mean, Rodgers may be a good quarterback. I think he's still gonna be fine with this team. But I'm concerned that they don't have enough weapons.
Well, I mean, if I'm the Packers, I'm relying heavily on the run game this weekend.
They should do that for most.
I think it's
going
to be. Yeah. It's going to be smack mouth football. And you just got to rely on A.J. Dillon.
That's a great call.
I think he's going to have
A.J. Dillon?
A.J. Dillon. That's what I want.
Jones?
Yeah, definitely.
A.J. Dillon, I like A.J. Dillon in this game because, Nico, you said it. The Packers, listen, if they're going to be the top flight defense and, serviceable on offense, they have to, enforce physicality on both sides of the ball. You got to start against, a pathetic Bears. Again, I like Justin Fields, but that offensive line and those receiving cores, that's not great.
Yeah.
So you really got to, stamp that, last week was a blip on the radar, but we're here. We're here in primetime. I think that's what the Packers are. I think that's what they're going to do. But
that's what they should do.
Absolutely.
They should.
And if they do any less, then we can start asking questions.
Definitely.
But a lot of football talk, a lot of great football discourse today. But let's pivot to the NBA real quick. Your Suns, Erik.
Yeah.
Robert Sarver is a wild boy.
He is.
He's a wild guy.
He's wild, cheap.
Yeah.
I don't get it with him.
Let me let the people know just exactly what Rob has been up to. He was fined $10 million, which for an NBA owner isn't much, I guess.
No, it's not.
Suspended 1 year. He'll probably be off in the Maldives on a hammock somewhere. Suspended for no, just not much of a punishment. But the NBA investigation that took place, regarding it's funny how it dropped right after the Ayton drama about the extension. You remember that back to the last season in the NBA?
Yep.
The investigation found Sarver used racially insensitive language, sex-based statements, treated female employees unequally, and engaged in bullying. I'm not even going to go to how he treated the men in the Suns organization. I'm not going to go there today, but Erik, I wanted to get your thoughts about the suspension. Do you think... Well, actually, let me come to you with this question. Everyone has brought up Donald Sterling and him being booted out the league by Adam Silver right when Adam Silver took the job as the commissioner. Now, I think this is a different situation, but you look at these allegations, Sarver was wilding.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think it was because Sterling got caught on tape. We heard the nasty things he was saying, but Sarver, how different do you think the situation is? And do you think Sarver should have been punished more?
He should have been punished more. I mean, I don't like him because he's very cheap. He doesn't like to spend money in the offseason.
Never has.
And I go back to this all the time. He once he was very happy Goran Dragic didn't make the All-Star game because he had $1 million incentive.
That's crazy.
I think the punishment, it has to be more, but I don't think it has to be the same as Donald Sterling because there was no evidence for it, obviously, like you just said. So.
Right.
But, you have people, they report these things, and obviously it was true because it came out, and it wasn't just one allegation, plenty. So, I think it definitely has to be a much bigger punishment.
If I'm Donald Sterling right now, I'm looking at Chris Paul like, hey, you was wearing them shirts inside out with me. What's good now? Like, and the thing that got me was they said he said those words, but he didn't mean it, not in that way. I'm like, them words should come out your mouth. Yeah, it don't matter which way you putting it. And I'm just like, the way they talk now, as much as you say Donald Nolan was caught on tape, it don't matter if you caught on tape or not. If the allegations are being proven that you did these things, 1 year don't mean nothing to me. I'm like this. If he lost his team, hey, I'm just saying.
I 100% agree. And the major difference with the Donald Sterling thing, you said it, Kory, he was caught on tape saying these things, but it was during the playoffs.
And the thing is, right?
This is during the offseason.
The thing about the allegations is, right, it's the same thing with it's the same thing with how people talk about Dan Snyder and the Washington Commanders. They talk about all these allegations against Dan Snyder. If any of those allegations come out to be true, that's what you should lose your team.
Now, I'll say this: it is a difficult thing to remove an owner of a team.
Didn't the Carolina Panthers owner lose his team for something in a similar?
Sexual harassment. Yep. It's. Some of these owners be wilding, and it's really it's. I'm not surprised when it comes to owners of professional teams, but it's a lot of like unequal footing.
Didn't the Texans owner step down too for saying something like we can't let the inmates run
McNair? The inmates run the asylum. That's right.
I'm just saying people have lost their teams for way less. Just point that out.
If we have more time, Thursday, Friday, the remaining days this week on WHPC Sports Talk, I definitely want to dive more into this, but
I just want to give a final thought.
Please.
As many people been watching the season, I believe that AB, Antonio Brown, got the dance of this NFL season.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that. Put that stuff on might be on and stuff like that.
Put that ish on.
Yeah, we gotta keep PG. Keep PG.
Yeah, we can't piss off FCC too much.
Sean was just talking about that last night.
Yeah, man. I got caught up one time.
Hey, you don't know who's listening apparently.
No, you never know who's listening. Any final thoughts, fellas, before we close?
I hope the New York Yankees lose tonight. And the Toronto Blue Jays will win.
And that's why you lose your parlays.
Oh, my God.
That's exactly why.
Nico, you brought up after the meeting yesterday, how close are the Blue Jays to the Yankees in the standings?
It's 6 games right now because they ended up winning last night.
Okay. But
But the Blue Jays are on the rise.
And the Yankees, again, Garrett Colross.
Yeah, I don't trust him. Yeah. I don't fully trust him yet. I mean, I know they won, but I'm not fully trusting him. And by the way, just one little quick note: good news for the Mets. The Giants are beating the Braves 2-1 now of the guy that everybody wanted the Mets to move in, rightfully so. J.D. Davis, RBI double.
Yo, why has this man been raking?
Well,
since he got to San Francisco.
Well, he's
not raking, but
he's been struggling lately. Actually, last 16 games, batting like 160.
Yeah, he had a hot start, but listen, it's so funny how this works because I'll definitely take him over Darren Ruff right now.
Oh, of course.
We traded J.D. Davis and 4 prospects.
Yeah.
Bad.
I would take a garbage can over Darren Ruff right now. What's
honestly,
the difference?
It's doo-doo Darren.
Yep.
I can't say any more than that. Erik, you got anything for us?
Robert Sarver, get him off the team. He doesn't need the team anymore. I'm tired of him.
Yeah, as a Suns fan, you should absolutely be saying that because, like you said, it's not just this.
Yeah.
Like he needed to go well before this, just because you can't be an NBA owner trying to contend, trying to win. He's had some damn good teams over the years, and just really cost them because of financial reasons. There's no excuse for that. But we will call it a day on WHPC Sports Talk on that note. Thank you once again for listening to the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC from Kory David, Nico Each, Erik Williams, Ross Levine. I am Joshua Umahi signing off. We will see you tomorrow afternoon at 4 p.m. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.